Leafs talk. All right, buddy. I didn't think we were getting this one tonight. It's Leafs talk on the Sportsnet podcast and radio network. Of course, Sportsnet Plus as well. Sam McKee, JD Bunkis. I'll admit it, man. I was sitting there on the couch. It's like, ugh, this is the worst kind of game to talk about. The Leafs get goalied. The people get mad. Familiar to
Mhm.
the Tampa Bay Lightning. Not today. Not today. Leafs storm back. You said it. Sneaky huge point. Sneaky big 2 points.
Well, the way that this division is starting to shake out here, it looks like there might not be all bad teams anymore. Maybe some teams that are actually decent. So yeah, I actually texted being like, wow,
Yeah,
that's a big point. And I actually
right.
meant it. Like I used to say that like sarcastically when they'd blow one, and I'd be like, oh, a big point
Mhm.
there. But I actually meant it in this one. That was a really good hockey game.
That was a
Like
really
just
great game.
like, generally from both teams, tons of chances. Neither coach is going to love it, I don't think. But man, just from an entertainment perspective, and just a ton of fun.
Well, I'll tell you what Sheldon Keefe is gonna like. I
Yeah.
said it after last game, right? That the Leafs had only one game where they scored more than once 5-on-5.
Hmm.
And it was a problem. It was a problem early on in the season. What'd they do tonight? They ended up scoring first. They got the team that was geared towards more offense. You saw it tonight, even though they only end up with, 4 goals with the overtime one. 81 shot attempts.
Yeah.
52 shots on goal and a win against the Tampa Bay Lightning. If you're looking at the Leafs and saying, hey, what's going to be different this year? Well, part of it has to be secondary scoring. Part of it has to feel like your offense has real force to it. And the Leafs did that basically the entire night.
Yeah. I think what the coach said in the practice on Friday or Saturday, whenever they practiced.
Yep.
This is a very, very technical, very analytics driven thing. Maybe shoot the damn hockey puck a little bit more, boys.
Mhm.
And they just really seem to be going towards the net with the puck, shooting it from everywhere. Like what they had up with 52, 53 shots tonight.
Yeah. 52
I
shots, 52 shots, 81 shot attempts.
I think about
81.
from 52 of those shots, I would say, I don't know what percentage of them were actually really good, clean shots. I thought
Mhm.
there was a lot of stuff from the outside, which I don't mind, especially against a goalie like that who,
Mhm.
over his career hasn't been very good. But man, it was going to be all my fault they didn't win this game because I was talking about what a sieve he was and how much they lit him up when he was playing for Colorado. And I sent the text like, "Is this guy better than Vasilevsky? What's going on here?"
Yeah.
But yeah. I thought they just really had the mentality to shoot the puck a whole hell of a lot more tonight.
Mhm. Hey, you're right. And I gotta say, credit to them because they stuck with it all night long. Like, there wasn't really a long stretch of play Lightning dominated. The Lightning had good shifts. Like, the Lightning also played well. Toronto probably wants to clean some stuff up defensively, especially, like, in that first period. A couple of the penalties that they ended up taking, the one transition goal where Kucherov just embarrasses them, right? Just pulls their
Mhm.
pants down. Beautiful pass for the second goal of the game. But yeah, I just thought that that was a pretty gutsy effort from this team. Like they get hammered a lot. We hammer them when they think I hammered them after the last game, but their goalie gets chased. And man, it was a great pull by Sheldon Keefe because it worked out perfectly well, right? Wool comes in there, makes what did he have? I think he had 30 saves.
Yeah.
I think
So
he had the backup shutout with 30 saves, no goals against, and a bunch of really good ones. So I don't want to let's hey, it wouldn't be Leafs talk if we didn't have you blaming yourself and me overreacting. So we have a goalie controversy in Toronto.
I mean, there's no question Wall starting on Tuesday against the Caps.
100%.
That's I mean, I don't
100%.
I don't know if that's a controversy at this point, but there's just absolutely no way you can't reward Wall for him coming in the way he did and changing that game, quite honestly. Like it just felt like he was a real calming effect over the team.
Mhm.
Like this is when coaches pull the goalie when they're down too early, this is the exact desired effect. The guys got
Mhm.
their heads out of their what. They start playing a little bit harder defensively. The goalie comes in, makes some big saves, gives your team a bit of a feeling of comfort, and you come back and you win the game. So that's how you draw it up for Sheldon Keefe. But yeah, no question, Wall goes next game. And I think it's all start to start here. I think it's kind of solidified into start to start after the way that Samsonov started this one and the way that Wall went. But I'm not going full controversy, but it's definitely I think it's trending in that direction, fella.
Here's what I'll say. Samsonov got a little hung out to dry on some of those goals. Like
Yeah.
there's not one in the three where you go, that's an absolute nightmare.
No.
But what do I've always said, right? Like goalies are running backs. You got to have a good tandem, and you probably can't pay any of them a ton of money unless it's the elite. And what's nice when you have a good running back duo is when you have like the change of pace back that's very different. And Samsonov is somebody who makes some pretty electric saves, right? But he takes
Yeah.
chances, he takes risks. I thought, yeah, the third one that chased him, he definitely didn't get across well enough in time. Like he didn't make a good read. But Wool
What?
came in there and was basically like the opposite of Samsonov, just very quiet in the
Yeah.
crease, stood tall, used his size, battled, right? Like, how many
Mhm.
times did the Lightning have players in front of the net where, like, look at that highlight reel we just played. How many times is Wall just like searching for it, not giving up his position, making really good saves? I loved it tonight. I just thought it was calm. I thought he played big, and I thought he looked very different from the guy that got chased.
Yeah, I think that's always been the thing with those 2, and I've talked about it before on the show, is that stylistically, they couldn't be more different, and one
Mhm.
of the guys' styles is much more aesthetically pleasing and easier on the heart, and one guy's way more sort of, like, athletic and, like yeah, I don't really know. I'm not Mike McKenna here, buddy. I don't really know how to break down goaltending,
You know how to
but one
blame
guy
him though,
one
so that's
but one guy
surprising
oh,
'cause
hell yeah, buddy. Buddy, I am the lowest common denominator of
yeah.
hockey fan.
Oh, yeah.
Huge breakdown in the offensive
Yeah.
zone. What a horrible play by Samsonov. Could we get one there? Like, it's I'm the lowest common denominator. I
Yeah.
didn't like the first one that he let in. I thought he was staring him down, beat him
Yeah.
clean, no screen. The other 2, I really don't think he had much of a chance on, but it's a good pull. But yeah, I'm going back to Wall. Kid was excellent coming in there,
Yeah.
giving them exactly what they needed, and he gets to start on Tuesday. No question.
Yeah, 100%. 100% he's starting on Tuesday. It's a bit of a tough one because it's the Capitals. It's Samsonov's
Mm,
former team. I'm sure he would want the net, but I don't know how I don't know how you play that one if it's Sheldon Keefe, because I think you got to just sit him down and say, listen, you got to ride the hot hand on that one.
yeah.
It's just a little tough for Samsonov because if you want to feel like you're the starting goaltender, you don't really want to feel like you can lose your net based on 3 goals where Nikita Kucherov goes all world on you,
Yeah.
and then the backup comes in and makes and like has one good start. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's a little risky, but I'm with you. I would play Wool in the next game. I think he played well enough. I think he deserves the shot.
And Samsonov, I think you kind of have to be careful with because we've heard, we've made the comparisons, the Russian Jack Campbell
Oh,
comparisons.
yeah.
Yeah. And like I think you do have to tread a
Oh,
little lightly with him. And I think you're
yeah,
bang on with that, especially going into his old barn where he had
yeah.
all those amazing memories of him being just like super marginal. So I think they'll
Such a dick.
probably not. Wasn't he saying he was like super nervous last year? Was that, do I
Yeah, he
remember that
did.
correctly? Like, cause
He
I'm
did.
so nervous going in there. So maybe you give him
Yeah.
a little break. He's not as nervous going in there. So yeah, Wall's starting
Yeah, well,
Tuesday.
he won't be as nervous because he'll be watching from the bench,
Yes, yes,
so it's
correct.
fine. Like
He'll be enjoying the popcorn in his old building.
hard to feel is scary. All right. I know Matthew Knies scored twice,
Mhm.
and he deserves to be probably higher, but this is Max Domi, right? Like Max Domi is the guy that we got to talk about because even before he made those assists, you and I were
Mhm.
texting that he looked like a better player tonight. He looked like a more confident version of himself. He actually had one play where he's behind the net and he centered it for Yarncroc, and Yarncroc
Yeah.
just whiffed on it, but he probably had 2 or 3 plays before that one where it almost felt like, man, he's a little snake bit right now. Like someone's just got to finish one for him. And then, like you saw what the Leafs signed Max Domi for. Good, strong stride, carries the puck through the zone and sets up Knies for 2 beauties. The first one, though, like right after it, you get the camera of Domi on the bench. I tweeted the picture of the smile. He's trying not to. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
he just, when you're a kid and you're in class and you're getting in trouble and like, don't smile, don't smile, don't smile. And then you're going to crack the biggest smile right in the teacher's face. That was Max Domi on the bench after he got that assist.
I love what Simmer said tonight on the broadcast. I mean, we're spoiled every night with
Mhm.
these guys, but he nailed it early in the game. He pointed out a play where Domi had some room ahead of him and he turned back at the blue line and kind of like did a play where he stopped up.
Mhm.
And Simmer's like, when he's at his best, he's going full speed, he's going north. He's got to get his legs moving. Like that's when he's going at his best, that's what he does. And
Mhm.
then lo and behold, the commentator's dream when he goes out and he does the thing that you asked him to do early in the game and he just gets 2 goals off of it immediately. Like 2 saucer passes right on the tape to a guy who shoots him in the net. Those are
Dude,
both
that is
beautiful finishes by
gorgeous. Like,
and the second one too, where he kind of miffs on it and then he falls to a
yeah,
knee and still manages to get enough on it to score. Like if you watch it here, good miff and then he gets enough on it. Like
yeah.
you show this. This is why this kid had pedigree. This is why he's a second round pick. Like Nye is a real stud. But yeah, Domi to me was just going north with it tonight. He
Yeah.
looked
North.
confident. He looked like a guy that I've watched play for however long. Like I know Max Domi's game. I know what he does when he plays well, and it looked like Max Domi tonight. The other
I
games,
just
he barely looked like he remembered how
I
to
know.
play hockey. Like he couldn't make a pass. He couldn't do anything.
He looked completely lost. Again, look at if you rolled the tape back from the last game, the first period, to the
Mhm.
third period of tonight's game, it's like two completely different guys. And yeah, what do I say? I always love guys who can go full speed and play calm. And that was Domi on both those passes, right?
Yeah,
Just going, like you said, north, full speed, and then making two gorgeous plays. Like, yes, Matthew Nyes, that first goal is just an absolute snipe. It's gorgeous.
yeah,
That will still be one of the nicest shots of the entire year. I'll
for
stake
sure.
that out. We're
On a
October
team with
21st.
Austin Matthews.
Yes. That dude, I was like, that was Matthews. he, he put he stole Matthews' essence for that goal. It's
He
gorgeous. Yeah,
is
you can
he
run
does
this a
have a
million times,
he
Joe.
does have a little, like, I don't know what the poor man, the below the poor man version of Matthews is. Maybe like the, I don't know, below the bridge troll version of Matthews. I don't know
Oh,
what it is.
that's
But
rude.
like he does have a little bit, like you can see the sort of big American type of player in him. You know, like there's a certain type of guy that's coming out now, that there's like these American kids that just can fire it and are big and strong. And he kind of looks like one of those guys. So
Yeah,
I was impressed with him tonight. He played more and he scored a couple goals. What a
yeah,
concept. We
yeah.
asked
Like
for it on Leafs Talk on after whatever game that was, and how all of a sudden he scores when you play him more.
yeah. I think you keep that group together for now.
Absolutely. You have to go back to it.
It's just a little strange because it
I mean,
it put
what group?
two
There's 1,000 different line combinations tonight, so I don't
yeah.
even know. Like, what was the group together when those two scores? The camp?
Dude,
Who
yeah,
was it?
It was
Okay,
camp down the middle.
all
No,
right.
dude, Sheldon had the
Oh
lines
boy, he
blended
was
up
on
again
one
tonight.
tonight. Holy crap! I
Yeah,
was like, what? Who's playing with who? Like, I had no
I
idea the whole night.
I like listen, it worked tonight,
Yeah,
but there's no way that these guys don't go home and they're just like, "Whew."
yeah, I
Like
know.
you gotta be dialed in, paying attention to what the hell is going on because yeah, the Tinker was in the full Tinker mode tonight. He was absolutely loving it. But yeah, it worked out.
Nyes ended up playing 14:55 tonight, which is a great number for
Good.
him. That's a
Great
perfect
number.
number. It's a
He was at
perfect
he
number.
barely cracked 11 after in
Yeah,
that last game. He gets up over 14. Did
yeah.
he get on the ice for overtime or is that all
He
regulation
did
time?
he did, and they Keefe went with a hunch, obviously, because they'd scored the 2 goals,
Yeah.
and he puts Domi out at center,
Yeah.
and with Nyes,
Right.
Domi gets cleaned out on the draw, and the
Yes.
only possession in overtime that the Lightning
That
had is
they
when those
had.
2 were on the ice. So,
Domi had
yeah.
a Domi went for it in OT though.
Oh, yeah.
He
I
went
love
he
it.
went for the full hero. Yeah,
Love
that's
it.
where he's feeling himself now. He
Yeah.
was like, it's gonna be pretty curious to see if he can carry this over for
Mhm.
the rest of the trip and see if he starts to settle in and if the Leafs actually kind of find something. Because yeah, tonight it worked out. He looked awesome. Nyes looked awesome. Good for Nyes. It's weird because they do the Nyes first goal thing, but he had it in the playoffs, and so it feels really like you
Yeah.
keep that puck.
Well, I mean, like, the goal in the playoff was, like, 100 times more important than this one.
But that's what
So,
I'm
it's like
saying. It's like
it's a
you
weird
keep that
thing. It's
puck.
a
Like
weird
when
thing.
they pass it to you and you're like, "Hey, here's your first regular season goal." He's like,
Okay.
"Yeah."
I scored a
Yeah.
sick through the legs goal in the playoffs and at the Scotiabank Arena here. Like,
Yeah,
what do you want from me?
arguably the second most memorable goal
Yeah.
of the playoffs for the Leafs, right?
And
Like
even like one of the most polished broadcasters of all time, Cuthbert, he's like
mhm,
his first
yeah,
regular season goal.
season
Like he
goal.
didn't even know how to handle it. I was like, oh, what
Yeah,
the hell?
it's a bit of a weird one.
Yeah, it was weird.
All right, any other big picture stuff for you?
Well, I don't know if it's a negative or not, but you mentioned the line juggling there, and I thought, like, is it a negative that you're searching this hard in game 4, or is it that it's early in the season, you should be searching at this point? Like, I could hear either side of it.
Um, at this point, because it just worked tonight so
Yeah.
well with Domi and Nyes,
Mhm.
and the fact that what did Domi finish with ice time wise?
I'll look it up right now. I have it in front of
Like
me.
it
I
just
had
well, I was gonna say it just if Domi was also over 14, like camp
14,
over
13,
14.
yeah, 14, yeah.
This listen, man, this was the nice thing about no disrespect to Fraser Minton, like
Mhm,
none. The kid came up, he had a great training camp, he had a great preseason, he
mhm.
deserved the shot that he got,
Yep.
but he's clearly not ready, and no one thought he was going to be. Like, I have Myrtle on my show every single week. He's a Kamloops fan. All of his Kamloops connections were completely blown away that he was going to stay up with the Leafs.
Yeah.
Like, jaw dropping. We don't think that this is a possibility. To, oh my God, he's staying with the team. And it's not like Holmberg did anything, but it just bumped Kampf up into the third line center, where all of a sudden Kampf is getting minutes and he's not just stuck with Ryan Reeves all night long, where
Mhm.
he's just, probably terrified the entire time covering for Ryan Reeves, knowing that anything going back in transition is going to burn
Boy,
them. Like, yeah.
they didn't play at all, eh? I'm just looking at the ice time
No,
for that fourth line. They didn't play at all. They're
no, man.
506 for Reeves, 652 for Holmberg, and
Yeah.
552 for Gregor. So
I actually don't mind Gregor now,
me
like
too.
because he's at least got some speed and he
Yeah.
he finds a way to be a little dangerous. Although the book on him with the Sharks was that's his move. He's like, the guy in the Mighty Ducks that couldn't stop, just like the fly guy, and then
Yeah.
but just like all speed, no finish. But either way,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't like. I think that you kind of have to juggle the lines a little bit here because you're trying to find ways of resting some of the stars. Like they're a three-line team, man. Like
Yeah.
they're purely a three-line team. That could not be more clear. What place is Pontus Holmberg going to play in this season? Like, how many minutes can you put Ryan Reeves on the ice? Man, when Ryan Reeves is on the ice, it's like I'm sitting there going, get off, get off, get off, get off. And it's like he's
I
been
know.
out there for 2 seconds.
I know.
Like, it's
It's
not good.
scary. It's
It's
scary.
not good.
It
Yeah.
sucks. It sucks.
Yeah.
I
It's
didn't
not
want
great.
this to happen. And I
Yeah.
thought there's a couple points in the game tonight where I was like, "You know what? This game could use for the Leafs here? Like a big hit and like something greasy to happen." Isn't that the guy that they paid $1 million for 3 years for him to do something like that when they're kind of a
Hard to do
sleepy
something when you're
game?
not on the ice, man.
I
Hard to do
know, but
something when
like,
you're not on the ice,
yeah, it's
and you
like
can't catch
Janot.
up with anybody.
No, it's like you're gonna go Janot. Why would Janot go you? Janot's playing in the game. Like he's
Yeah.
in the game. He's part of the game. He's like on the ice with good players and going to the net and looks like a hockey player. We're early here, but it's getting late early.
Yeah.
Like,
I can
how long can you play your fourth line 4 minutes a night, 5 minutes a night?
I
What
can
do you
never remember I can never remember who the tough guy was that used to play for the Rangers, but it was like 2 or 3 seasons ago where the Leafs played them, and it was this big thing. They were like, "Oh, the Rangers, they just got so much tougher," and the Leafs skated circles around this guy, and it felt like the end of
was it
someone's
Reeves?
career. No, it wasn't
Oh,
Reeves. It was
okay.
somebody else. I know, that's what but it's just like it's feeling a little bit like that at times for Reeves already so far this season. Anyway,
Yeah,
I just wanna say too, the penalty kill in the second period when the Leafs took 2 penalties to start. Nylander
yeah.
takes the bad one, and then there's just kind of an unfortunate one where Klingberg is just sort of standing his ground and Hagel runs
He
into
got
him.
the elbow up. I liked it.
Yeah, okay, so you think it was a little dirty, touch dirty?
100% accidentally on purpose. Are you kidding
Yeah.
me? He got that elbow up real good. That's such a
I
soft call on he's
I
just
I
trying to
have
go around him.
Hagel booked for my podcast on
Oh,
Tuesday.
uh-oh, he
I
might be able to
wonder
do it.
I was gonna say,
TD
I wonder if he'll
oh,
cancel.
he might.
Yeah,
That's
anyway, I'm preparing as though he's gonna cancel after
yeah.
tonight's game. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't wanna come on after this one. I
No.
like, he knows where I do the show from. He knows, you know, like, it's
It's
he
like
left the
John
game
Cooper
and
coming
he
on Real Kipper and Born. I'm like, I hope this guy's
yeah,
never listened to the show. Holy crap.
yeah. Anyway, so Klingberg takes that penalty. It's the big hit. You think he got the elbow up. I just
Yep.
thought, like, even the Lightning players kinda seemed to ease up on Klingberg when he had his back against the boards because they just looked at him and went, "It's John Klingberg." Like, I don't know. He wants no part of this. Like, he's not looking to engage in this.
Uh,
Hagel even seemed to be looking up like, "Hey, guys, go get him more." But there was a couple big saves in that penalty kill, but to me, if we're doing, like, the turning point of the game, Mark Giordano.
oh
That
man.
block shot that block shot that Gio took. Do we have that, Joe? Roll this block shot because this is a 40-year-old man. Wait, it's late. That's him getting it. Then he gets it out. So he takes that bullet to the leg and
Oh
then
yeah.
he gets the puck out. And he has blocked more shots than anybody in
Oh,
NHL history. And I bet you he'll remember that one. Like, I bet
oh,
you out of all of the shots that he's blocked in his career, like the way that he looked on that bench, I was worried that he wasn't going to come back in the game because I thought maybe he hit him in the knee in the wrong spot. He did. And this is just a pretty simplistic take, but God, man, what a warrior. What an absolute menace. Like,
for the
what a
yeah.
what a play. What a
For
play that was. Huge.
For those watching on YouTube, our wonderful Jobo he is absolutely labeled this correctly. Lionheart Geo.
Mhm.
Because this guy, he gives you every last morsel is what he's got. He's
Yeah.
even he's not pissing a drop when he comes off the ice, but
No.
he is given every little thing he's
Yeah.
got to. And
Yeah.
I don't know how you look at that and as another guy, and you're like, holy crap, I better elevate here. This old bag of bones is out here getting in front of guys' shots and diving all over the place. But like I will say, I know it's early in the season, so it's probably not gonna last, but he
He's
has had
played
a little
well.
bit of he's had a little bit of jump offensively where it's
Mhm.
like he's actually jumped up a bit and there's been flashes of old Geo and he's getting the puck towards the net. I think, and it's not going to last because he's old and he's going to be playing a ton, but like he has looked really good through the start of this season. And
Mm.
it's scary how important he is, right?
You
Like
know what
he
though?
is
They did a decent
scarily
job.
important to this team.
I thought the Leafs did a decent job actually though of limiting his ice time tonight. He was only at 14.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's
Like
good.
that's all right. That's kind of
Yeah.
where you want Giordano around every single night because
Mhm.
last year at the beginning of the season when they needed him and he was playing 20 and I was
Yeah.
talking to people who had played with him and they went, "No, that's just the kind of player he was." And I went, "Yeah, like 10
Yeah.
years ago when you were on his
Yeah.
team. Like he's 39 years old now. Now he's 40. I think that you kind of got to keep him there." Anyways, it was just an absolutely massive moment. Also um like it was kind of lost in the shuffle a little bit, but the first goal, beautiful play by Tavares. Nice little finish. You hammered the goalie for a sieve, but
No, yeah.
like nice little spinorama pass, finds Nylander, tucks one, scores another goal. Yeah, I'm not bringing up anything about the money because it's going to be there. You
Yeah.
said every time do you think about it, but I went that was a nice one for him where he just gets to kind of look at that one. Thanks, John. Thanks for the extra cash that's going into the
But
pocket on some of these ones.
that's 5 points in 5 games for Willie.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
nice starting a contract here for old
Tavares
William.
too, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, Tavares is I wouldn't say Tavares has jumped off the page the way Nylander has. I think Tavares is just like if you told me he had points in all the games, I would probably be pretty surprised by that. I think that's true though.
I mean,
But
Tavares had the game-winning goal. He had
yeah,
that beautiful assist, and he had 7 shots in
tonight
this game.
tonight
I
was
wouldn't.
tonight was by far his best game where
Yeah,
I
I was
noticed
gonna
him the
say
most.
he was pretty damn good tonight. So yeah, good game for
Uh,
Tavares, a guy who kind of goes about his business quietly, does his thing, and then yeah, people don't really love to praise him for I think that reason. Like he's not as jump off the
Flashy.
page as some of those other guys. But yeah, this is just really good work. Like both of these, this is like vintage John Tavares, finishing a play and creating a play out of the slot. Like good for him.
Can I
Any other rapid fire things for you before we go?
Yeah, I really like this trend of the Lightning blowing leads to the Leafs and losing in overtime.
Oh,
Like
brother.
it's a great trend. Like, you know, we've been on the other end of this a lot in our lives as
Mhm.
Leaf fans, and to have it flip over like this, where they're starting to worry about that kind of thing now, and they're leaky defensively. They are not the same Lightning team, and they're gonna have a hard time keeping their head above water without Vasilevsky until he comes back. Because what's he out 2 months?
Yeah.
He's out 2 months and then he comes back. He's not going to hit the ground running. This is like
Mhm.
3 months of them probably not getting really good goaltending. And then their defense leaves a lot to be desired. Like remember last year in the playoffs, that was a big reason. Who did Bunting brain last year? It was Chernak, right?
Chernak.
When
Yeah.
he buried him, that was a huge turning point in the series. And like Radish is okay, Perbix, like these guys are okay,
Mhm.
but Gojin was playing quite a bit for them. I just found them pretty leaky defensively, and I didn't think they looked like their offense is still so terrifying. Kucherov is so
Mhm.
good. Obviously, Hagel's a really good player, and I hate to admit it because I'm not a huge fan, and I know he's coming on your pod, so
Mhm.
I'll say that. You don't have to say it, but I just think a lot of their guys are still really good offensively, but their D is not the same as it used to be, and
No,
that
man.
that
There's a
goalie
reason. Okay.
that goalie's not going to hold up.
Man, the one other note that I had just kind of was tied to this, which is Leaf fans love to bitch about the salary cap. You and I love to bitch about the salary
Oh yeah,
cap, and it's always through a very Leaf centric conversation about it. But it is like as much as Leaf fans can bitch and moan about the guys that they've had to pay and losing certain players for
yeah.
nothing, the Lightning, there's a graphic before the game starts where they're Stanley Cup winning team, and then it does the like fade out the players out of color who are no longer on the team.
The
They
Back to
got
the
7
Future
guys
graphic.
left. Yeah, they got 7 guys left from a Stanley Cup winning team from a couple of
Yeah.
years ago that are still on the team. It's just criminal, and you can't afford to just lose guys year over
No.
year. Like, Killorn was a staple for that team, and they just lose him to the crappy Anaheim Ducks because this stupid hard cap that's killing everybody, and
Mm.
now he's with, like, the loser brigade and never gonna see Yaville,
Yeah.
and
I
it
know.
just sucks. So
Yeah.
I've as as much as my heart can go out to the Lightning with their success, their wins, their,
Mhm.
annoying coach when they're in the playoffs with the Leafs. Yeah, I felt for them watching that graphic going, that would suck to have that. Like, imagine this would have happened to the hey, just buddy, what I will say about all sports is continuity is nice. And if you
Oh,
build a
yeah.
winner, like, what do we say in all pro sports or so all sports? Run it back, run it back.
Yeah.
And the NHL has gone to this position where it's impossible to do that for teams. And it's just such a stupid byproduct of this thing. Like, congrats, you got a team in Arizona. Like, good job. Like,
Yeah.
we're
Who
thrilled.
cares?
We're thrilled to have you. We're thrilled to have the team in Arizona. And
And
to make sure that teams can't run their championship winning squads back. Anyways,
I got I
that's it
got
for me.
one more. I got one more, and I don't wanna be too
McCabe
negative. Yeah. That
sucks.
that man is doing way too much out there. I
Oh my god.
somebody's gotta sit him down and be like, "Hey, bud, take a breath." I don't know what position he's playing. Great label. Yeah, like, what position is he playing? How many times have they been like, the guys, the he's playing with the big boys, and they're covering for him half the time.
All the
Like,
time.
it's like
How many
Willie is
times did
like, why
Marner
is
drop
Willie
back?
I know. I'm like, why is Willie playing D right now? And then it's
Yeah,
like McCabe's below the dot. I'm like, hey man, what is happening here?
dude,
And if he is playing like this all year, they're in trouble on the D court because they need him
dude,
to be way better than this.
look at how many highlights there are of him just pinching.
I know.
He's a pinch
And look,
king.
look at this guy. He's in
I
on a
know, dude.
breakaway for
I
some
know.
reason.
It's some on a
I know.
penalty kill.
Yeah, I'm concerned. And
Anyway,
him and Liljegren got caved in tonight. And I don't think Liljegren's as bad as he looked tonight. I think he's
no.
a hard guy to play with. Every guy they've put him with so far has looked by far their worst. So what do you do?
That man, my working theory now with McCabe is that they were like, we want to have Riley and Klingberg and Liljegren pinch more. And he was like, and me.
I'm the man who pinches.
And me too. And he just decided that because there's no way the coaching staff is drawing it up for him this way. Like,
No way.
no
You
way.
can't. You
No
can't.
way. So I knew that he was like a step up and make the risky hit guy. I didn't know that he was the step up and make the risky pinch guy.
Yeah, he was below the dots like at least 7 times tonight. I was like, man, just
Wild.
I think we've talked about this with Borny before, and it's always his take is that he's just like such an insanely competitive guy, McCabe, and he just
Mhm.
wants to make something happen every shift. He's like, I am the guy that makes things happen. I'm Mr. Competitive. I want to hammer somebody.
Doing
I
too
want him to get a
much.
goal, doing way too much. And
You
I don't
said it.
know. Can you rein him in? Can you talk to him? Be like, hey man, just play your position a little more.
Mhm.
Pick your spots a little bit better because he's picking every spot right now. Like there was no spot he won't pick.
Maybe he saw that graphic that got flashed up during the broadcast this year about how the Leafs blue line hasn't scored any goals in the last 2 seasons. They're like 31st and last.
I
And
know.
he just went, I'll take this matter in my own hands. I don't want to have this
It's
stat. Like,
Jake the Cave time.
yeah. Yeah, he's really doing something out there. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
funny that multiple times a game now it's become the thing in the group chat, multiple group chats like McCabe time. Like
Question
he's
mark? McCabe
yeah,
question mark?
yeah.
He's flying around.
All right. Let's
Yeah,
wrap this sucker up.
all
Thanks to
good.
everybody for listening. Thanks for everybody watching. If you're listening or if you just don't watch this every single night, subscribe to the podcast. It's really cool when you do that. So
We
go
love that
to
very much.
we really love that. That's like a
Mhm.
really cool thing for you to do. So go
Yes.
to wherever you get your pods, hit the subscribe or the follow, whatever the hell the button is that is the service that you use, and subscribe to the podcast. And while you're there, leave 5 stars. And just like right now, if you're watching on YouTube, you're watching this all the way to the end like a good person,
Mhm.
really cooking that algorithm for the boys, hit that thumbs up and then share it. Just do those just kind things. Just a nice little kind thing. Keep the
Mm.
good vibes going. Anyways, for JD Bunkus, Sam McKee, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at JD Bunkus, at Sam A. McKee. We will see you Tuesday night. Early start, 6 o'clock
Yeah,
start
6. Weird
against
one.
Washington. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Joe Wall night. We'll see. We'll see you then.